Picture two men. The first drives a brand new Lamborghini, designer watch, first-class lounges. By every visible signal your brain can read, this man is rich. The second drives a 10-year-old Toyota, plain clothes. You'd walk past him in a supermarket without a second glance. Now here's the question your brain will get wrong. Which one has more money? Researchers who study actual millionaires keep finding the same uncomfortable pattern. The loudest displays of wealth often come from people with the most fragile finances, while real wealth tends to be quiet, boring, and invisible. That's not a coincidence. It's psychology. There is a specific set of mental wiring that makes humans confuse looking rich with being rich, and that confusion is one of the most expensive mistakes a brain can make. Today, we're taking it apart. This is Money Mind Lab. First, we need to fix a definition, because almost everyone is using the wrong one. Income is not wealth. Income is the water flowing from the tap. Wealth is the water that actually stays in the tub. A massive tap with an open drain leaves you with an empty bathtub and a very impressive water bill. In the 1990s, researchers Thomas Stanley and William Danko spent years surveying actual American millionaires for their book, The Millionaire Next Door. They expected luxury. What they found instead were people living in ordinary neighborhoods, driving ordinary cars, buying ordinary clothes. And the reverse was just as striking. Stanley had a phrase for high-income professionals with almost nothing saved. Big hat, no cattle. Doctors and lawyers with enormous salaries and enormous lifestyles consuming every dollar of them. Here's the brutal logic underneath. Every dollar spent on looking rich is a dollar subtracted from being rich. The signal and the substance are not just different, they're in direct competition. So if displaying wealth actively destroys it, why are we so desperate to display it? For that, we have to go back, way back. In 1899, economist Thorstein Veblen coined a term that explains half of modern consumer culture: conspicuous consumption. Spending money not for what the thing does, but for what it says. And what it says is ancient. For most of human history, status wasn't vanity, it was survival. Higher status meant better food, better alliances, better mates, better protection for your children. Your brain evolved to chase status with the same urgency it chases food. The peacock's tail is the classic example from biology, an expensive, impractical display that works as a signal precisely because it's costly. Luxury goods operate on the same logic. A $50 watch tells time. A $5,000 watch tells people you can burn money. The trouble is, your status detection system was built for a tribe of maybe 150 people, where everyone knew the truth about everyone. It cannot tell the difference between someone who owns the Lamborghini and someone who's leasing it on a payment plan that's quietly eating them alive. In the modern world, the signal can be completely fake, and your brain and everyone else's falls for it anyway. But it gets darker, because the people most driven to send these signals are often the ones who can least afford to. In 2008, researchers Derek Rucker and Adam Galinsky ran a deceptively simple experiment. They made some participants feel powerless just by having them recall a time they lacked control. Then everyone priced status products. The result, people who felt powerless were willing to pay significantly more for high-status items. Not better items, status items. Psychologists call this compensatory consumption, using purchases to patch a hole in how you feel about yourself. The watch isn't a watch, it's an antidote to feeling overlooked. The car isn't transport, it's armor. Now add social media. Psychologist Leon Festinger showed back in the 1950s that humans constantly measure themselves against others. Social comparison is automatic, but your comparison group used to be your street. Now it's a global feed algorithmically curated to show you the top 1% of everyone's highlight reel, which means more people feel behind, more of the time than at any point in history. And feeling behind, as Rucker and Galinsky showed, is precisely the state that triggers status spending. The feed makes you feel small. The purchase makes you feel big. The credit card bill makes you feel small again. And there's a reason that loop never ends. In 1978, psychologist Philip Brickman and colleagues studied lottery winners, people who had received life-changing money. The expectation was obvious. They should be dramatically happier. The finding: their day-to-day happiness was far closer to ordinary people's than anyone predicted, and everyday pleasures actually felt duller. This is hedonic adaptation. Whatever you acquire becomes your new normal, usually within months. The luxury car becomes your car. The dream apartment becomes where you live. The thrill evaporates. The payments remain. This is why looking rich is a treadmill. Each status purchase delivers a short spike, fades to baseline, and leaves you needing a bigger signal next time, while your actual wealth drains away funding the show. Being rich works on the opposite curve. Assets compound quietly in the background. No spike, no fade, just a line that keeps bending upward whether anyone is watching or not. One path adapts to zero, the other compounds toward freedom. So how do you get off the treadmill? 4 moves. Number 1, change the scoreboard. You can't stop your brain from keeping score, so give it a better metric. Track your net worth monthly. The moment number going up becomes your status signal to yourself. Saving starts delivering the hit that spending used to. Number 2, curate your comparison group. Unfollow accounts that exist to make you feel behind. Festinger's research implies something empowering. You can't switch comparison off, but you can choose who you compare against. Choose people one realistic step ahead, not rented jet influencers. Number 3, audit the audience. Before any status purchase, ask one question: who exactly is this for? Name the actual people. Then ask whether those people are paying your bills. You'll be surprised how often the honest answer is strangers I'll never meet, and how fast the urge dies when you say it out loud. Number 4, spend loudly on freedom, quietly on things. Real wealth buys autonomy, the ability to walk away from a bad job, a bad deal, a bad city. If you want a status symbol worth chasing, chase the most exclusive one on earth, not needing anyone's permission. Here's the takeaway. Looking rich and being rich aren't just different, they're usually opposites, funded from the same limited pool of money. Every signal you don't send is wealth that stays in the tub. The richest move your brain can learn is to stop performing for an audience that was never going to pay you back. If this hit home, subscribe. Twice a week on Money Mind Lab, we break down the science behind your money decisions. Next up, how dopamine turns you into an impulse spender, and the 30-second trick that breaks the loop. See you in the next one.